Well, there you have it. Dane Zorko wins his 4th Merritt Murray medal in a row. Chris Fagan, the senior coach, joins me. A few people might be a bit surprised by that one. Fags, why is Zorks such a worthy winner of the award?
Well, I think people don't understand, us coaches, the way we measure performance. It's not always about how many kicks, marks and handballs you have, although, Dane has plenty of those. But he's the 2nd highest pressure player in the AFL, Dane Zorko. Not many people would realise that. So, for instance, in the game against Gold Coast where he was tagged by Tuke Miller, he had 17 possessions, but he had 36 pressure acts. So he's had 53 involvements in the game. So, the general public might look at Dane Zorko's performance a little differently than what we as a coaching group did, because we knew that his hard work on that night helped his teammates get the footy because of his pressures. So he's tremendous in that area. He's also played some great games in his own right this year where he's had 35 possession, kicked a bag full of goals. I mean, he's finished with pretty close to 30 odd goals this year. So he's had a very, very good year again. And again, probably people compare his year to last year where he's an All-Australian. He wasn't too far off that form this year, but because the bar's up there now, everybody expects that as a par sort of performance. But no rap for him. He played every game. He led really well when Dane Beams handed over the captaincy in about round 8 or 9, and he really rose to the occasion. He's a deserving winner. It
must be a hard thing, I guess, for any player to have the captaincy thrust on them in, dramatic circumstances and have to adapt to that in season. How's he been as a captain of the club? How have you viewed his leadership qualities?
Yeah, well, I must admit I was a little bit worried when we did it, but not because I didn't trust him to do the job well. It's just like suddenly you're the captain and it's a big responsibility, but he just rose to the occasion. I mean, he took on that responsibility and in some ways had been, because Beamsy had been struggling a little bit with it all and hadn't been able to be the captain that he was last year. And so Dane, but Zorks, I keep talking about Danes, we get confused all the days. Zorks has had to step up for him a little bit anyway. So when we actually formalised that decision, I think it was relatively easy. And of course, with Hodgie in the background helping out, they've made it a little bit easier as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's chat about some of the other players who finished in the top 5. We saw Darcy Gardner and Harris Andrews make their way in 4th and 5th respectively. You must feel quite proud as a coach to see 2 still relatively young key defenders being such important contributors to the team week in and week out.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. Actually, to see McCluggage and Berry and Witherden up there as well in the top 10, that was outstanding. But those 2 young fellows, I mean, really, you think about it, if Harris hadn't missed 4 or 5 games and Darcy hadn't missed it was pretty much 3 games at the end, maybe they would have been the medal winner this year. That's how close our season was, I think, in terms of player performance.
And so when you look back at season 2018, what do you think of the year that's just been?
Look, it's a year I'm really proud of. I'm disappointed for the players we didn't get more wins, but to win the 5 games, to win 3 in a row, to be able to beat Hawthorn twice, who are a top 4 team, to lose 5 games by less than 7 points against really good opposition, to be so much more competitive in all games, bar probably the game against Richmond in round 4 and a half against North Melbourne. It's a huge step forward for our club. Just look at our percentage now, close to 90%. It's a bit of an outlier. We probably deserved to win maybe 8-9 games. We didn't get there, but we've got that carrot in front of us now. There's real belief in the group. I think we can climb.
There's probably going to be a bit of expectation on the Lions next year, especially if some players do end up getting traded in that are being speculated about, which will be, I guess, the first in your time here at the club that there is that level of expectation. Do you think the playing list are ready to handle a little bit of that?
Yeah, they are. We've chatted about it. I mean, we're desperate to try and make finals. Whether we can get there next year or not, I don't know, but we're striving to get there. That's our challenge. We've got to get there somewhere over the next 2 or 3 years. Why not? Why can't it be next year with the growth that we've seen in our group? It's really hard. It's a tough competition, but they certainly believe in themselves now, which is different to probably this time last year and a year or so before that.
So what does your job look like, I guess, now? Are you're back to Melbourne to be with the grandkid as much as you can be over the next month or so?
No, I will go down to Melbourne and spend probably the next 4 to 5 weeks with our recruiting and list management team, where we talk about who we're going to pick in the draft and go through that trade period. I think it was really good last year. I did that, and I think they appreciated me being down there. We sat and watched tapes together, talked footy together. I went through our review of the season with them and, really informed them of what we're on about, which is a little difficult when they're based in Melbourne and we're up here. So we'll do that, and the double bonus to that will be I'll get to spend some time with my granddaughter.
And can we confirm that you'll be on the Raw Deal podcast this week reviewing the season?
Oh, someone did mention that to me, mate, so I'll be on it. Yeah, I'll
all
be
right,
there.
we can
Yeah,
confirm
that.
That's confirmation.
Yeah, no problems.
Thanks so much, Fags.
Right.
We all love having you as the coach, and
Thank you, mate.
thanks for dropping by.
Right.